Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had gonna
Yeah, so we have the playoff set, six
Yep.
teams in both divisions. In the and there were a couple teams that were still vying for spots. I believe. Well, so Dave, you are the GM of the Carolina Pickleball Club, and I think you guys still had like the what, a 2, 3, 4% chance possibly at qualifying
Yeah.
this time around. Very, very slim. Um, Unfortunate to see the year come to an end, but we do have the top six teams there. When did you become the GM of the Carolina Pickleball Club?
I mean, I basically have been since its inception when it was Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So since day one,
Okay,
basically.
gotcha. Yeah, I just remember when it was it. So you were behind the scenes prior to that, though, weren't you? Or were you actually with? I thought there was some sort of press release with you and Carolina in particular, or were you on site with them officially as the Seattle Pioneers last year?
Oh yeah, always.
Okay.
So yeah, no change since Seattle, and then last year I actually did two teams. I did Seattle and Dallas because they were in two separate divisions, so there was no crossover that would. I want everything to be on the up and up that I do, and there was a chance to help both Dallas and Seattle, so that's what I did last year.
hmm So going into this year, we had the Dutch auction, and we had basically a bid for who selects the number one spot. You guys bid the most. You took Ben for whatever it was. It was 700, 670. No, what, 750 something thousand like that. Um. Anyway, he was the most. He was the number one pick, but you guys didn't spend any more money filling out the rest of your roster. And I think a lot of people want to know, like, how come Ben didn't get the best supporting cast, or the at least spending a full amount on the rest of the roster?
I mean, I think the thought was we felt like we had an opportunity with the players that we took, putting him with Colin. You feel like you're getting a win every time at men's with their background. We started with the two veterans, which we thought could work with Andrea and Jesse, and unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition. So I think it was more that opportunity and what happened, because I would say your team's a good example, and some others got a lot of value at the bottom of the draft by going with some things. Then you hope that you find that chemistry and that it gels. And some of that worked, some didn't. And if it doesn't, you gotta tweak it and get ready for 2025.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interestingly, there were only three teams that didn't spend the full amount of money. Even so the teams were allowed $500,000 of basically monopoly money, and they could reach into their pockets for another $500,000 to sign players. And 9 of the 12 teams did that and basically spent at or almost all of their allowed dollars. And the three teams that didn't actually ended up last in the standings, the last three. And it's interesting because prior to this year, Ben had a great record with Major League Pickleball. So I think if I don't know what I'm expecting from you, but I think we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the allegations that Ben and Colin aren't giving a full effort. The allegations that they're having losses in Major League Pickleball that are very, very uncharacteristic, and they're not having at PPA. And you're steering that ship. I don't know if you want to comment, not want to comment, but I've got to ask you, like, how do you feel about those allegations?
I mean, I don't want to comment on that specific question. I mean, my big thing is I want to win every match that we can for Carolina, and this year that didn't happen, and I'm hoping that in 2025 it does.
Mm-hmm. Do you like, we're going into an off-season period where you're going to be allowed to make roster changes. We don't exactly know, exactly the format of that, but you're going to have to drop one of your players. Are there other people that you have your eyes on, or is this going to just remain to be seen? Like, what's your plan for getting Carolina to that winning position that you want?
Well, I think you saw that we started to tweak the roster with a couple of trades for the ladies. We brought in Brooke Buckner and Caitlin Christian towards the end of the year. We had a abysmal record in Dream Breakers, and that suddenly you have two of the top 5 ladies in singles. So I think the opportunity to look at, is that the right formulation for this team or not? And then obviously, I think every general manager is going to be looking at how does the rules and what do teams do with tweaking their roster, because as you mentioned, Zane, everybody has to cut a player. Who is going to be available in that pool, and does that make your team better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't know exactly how the challenger teams are going to be able to work into this, what type of budget they're going to be basically allowed. There are a lot of questions that are going to be that need to be answered before we can even really make super educated decisions on it. We just know at least one player from every team needs to be dropped. That's you. As of right now, you can retain 3 players with some caveats to that, but yeah, there's still a lot of things to be determined for next year. But yeah, and you know, there are plenty of players towards the end of the year that are burnt out or whatever, or you might be eliminated from the playoffs and you're not giving your 200%. I think that Ben and Colin were the ones with the most, talk, right? It's certainly not exclusive to them, but they're the ones with the highest profile. And obviously Colin had his letter that was released. And so that's what sort of brought all of this to the forefront. But it's got to be kind of tough to how do you coach the number 1 team in the world?
I mean, let's be honest with, Ben and Colin have an algorithm that everyone knows about and that I talk about. So
wait, hold on. Let's assume people don't know about it. Me. Like, actually explain, like, what truly do you mean by that? Is there truly something they're doing that's different, or are you just saying these guys are cerebral, they're very smart players?
They're 2 of the smartest players that we have in our sport, without question. Yeah. And so for me to tell them how to play against Zane is just not a smart role for me. My role is to, in that particular match, to, if I see something, I'll mention it, but it's more positive energy, getting the ladies ready to play mixed or their match coming up and so forth. But if anyone thinks I'm coaching up Ben on the sidelines there, that is not my role, and I'm not trying to do that. And I want to be very clear on that.
As a coach, and like, this sport is so strange because it does feel so new. The players who are playing now are better than anybody who's ever played. In this example specifically, kind of tough to teach the 2 guys who are debatably the best at strategy and the game itself. But when you see a Colin and Ben, in some instances, quit on a game, potentially a match, as a coach, do you not feel obligated to say, what the hell are you guys doing, and whip them into shape? If you saw that in the NBA, that guy gets benched. That guy, they have a tough conversation. They're held accountable. What's your take on that?
I mean, I think the players need to give what they can for that particular day. Everyone knows what the expectation I have is. I want to win every match, and I hope that we do that. And I show up and provide, hopefully, that position, and I hope they follow suit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it can't be an easy circumstance, but yeah, it's interesting. I think pickleball is just progressing. It's so unique in many ways, that's definitely one of the most interesting. If you're like me, you might feel your body is slowing down, not bouncing back like it used to. I learned recently that that could be attributed to your mitochondria slowing down. And that's where MitoPure comes in, which is a product by Timeline. It's backed by more than 15 years of dedicated scientific research. MitoPure is clinically proven to help clear out the old, worn out mitochondria, the energy centers of your body, to give you the reboot you need from the inside out. Timeline is offering 10% off your first order of MitoPure. Go to timeline.com/thedink, all caps DINK, timeline.com/thedink. And you'll get 10% off your first order, and you can, renew that mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. That's from a movie. I don't remember what it is, or maybe a show or something like that. Go get yourself some Timeline.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun, yeah.